Welcome back to the deep dive. So last time we dropped a pretty big number. That 95% of your life, your day, is run by your subconscious, your autopilot.
It's true. And, we really have to say again that this isn't a flaw. It's not a bug. It's a feature. It's actually brilliant.
Brilliant how?
That autopilot is designed for just brutal efficiency. It's saving all this mental energy for routine stuff, making coffee, your commute, the usual tasks at work.
Okay.
If you tried to be fully conscious, like 100% of the time, you wouldn't make it past lunch.
I feel that.
You'd be totally exhausted. You'd need a break, a nap, probably a massive amount of carbs just to reboot.
I can definitely relate to the carb part. So, okay, if this autopilot is so essential, so efficient, why are we doing a whole deep dive on, messing with it?
Yeah.
Why do we need to know its rules if it's so good at driving the bus?
Because that efficiency is built on old data. And life has a way of pushing us out of our comfort zone, right? Into places where that old programming isn't just unhelpful, it's actively damaging.
So that's where stress comes from.
That's exactly it. Stress, at its core, is just the gap between your autopilot's expectation of how things should be and the actual reality you're facing.
And the bigger the gap.
The bigger the stress. Exactly.
We usually think of stress as purely negative, the big presentation, a difficult conversation with your boss, that kind of thing.
Right.
But you made this point that it's actually a whole spectrum. It includes the positive extremes, too.
Absolutely. When your system is in overdrive, whether it's like excessive joy, massive excitement, a huge celebration, that's still a signal.
A signal of what?
That your automatic system has been pushed outside its normal operating limits. We have to look at both the good and the bad stress.
Okay, let's make that real. A classic work scenario. You finish a huge project, you're waiting for feedback, and you either get, really sharp criticism from a manager, or you get this huge, over-the-top praise from the whole team.
The negative one is easy to see, right? The criticism hits your inbox, and it triggers that classic fight-or-flight response.
So panic, self-doubt.
Or maybe you lash out, you attack the person who gave the feedback. The autopilot is just trying to defend the ego.
Okay, but the praise, let me push back on that a little. How can celebrating a win be a bad thing? It seems so unnatural to not feel good about that. Isn't that validation what motivates us?
It feels necessary, I get that, but let's look at the mechanism underneath.
Okay.
Both the desperate need for that praise and the painful reaction to the criticism. They're feeding the exact same underlying pattern.
Which is?
The need for external validation. If your sense of self-worth depends on someone else telling you did a good job, you are basically just feeding this engine that says, I am only okay when other people say I'm okay.
Okay, I see it now. So the positive stress is a trap.
It's a trap.
Because by celebrating it too much, you make yourself way more vulnerable to negative stress when that praise inevitably doesn't come.
It's the same engine, just running in two different directions. So if we really want to teach the autopilot a new, healthier pattern, we have to look at all the stress. Even the good stuff.
Yeah, because it shows you the wiring.
It reveals the foundational mechanism.
This brings us to, I think, a really crucial step that people skip. Before we even think about changing things, we have to talk about acceptance.
Yes. The step you absolutely cannot skip is what we call radical acceptance.
And that doesn't mean you have to like what's happening.
No, not at all. It means truly knowing and accepting what you do and why you do it, but without judging yourself for it.
So accepting, for instance, okay, I am someone who really needs external praise, or my default is to get defensive when I'm challenged.
Precisely. And you have to give that acceptance phase real time, patience. Sometimes just as much time as it takes to actually make the change.
Which is the opposite of what most self-help says. It's always change it now.
Exactly. Jumping straight to changing the behavior is usually counterproductive because you haven't laid the foundation. You're bottling it up. You're not fixing the program.
So acceptance gets us ready. We see the problem clearly. But then what? How do we actually build the new response? Because right now, most of us just, firefight.
We distract ourselves.
Watch a movie, gossip with a coworker. It helps in the moment, but doesn't solve the real issue. We need a system.
And that is where something like cognitive behavioral therapy or CBT is just so powerful. It's structured, it's practical, and it's incredibly effective.
And it's not new, right? This is an old idea.
Oh, it's ancient. It goes all the way back to the Stoics in ancient Greece.
Yeah.
Their whole thing was, it's not what happens to you, but what you think about what happens.
That's the core of it, really. The interpretation is everything. And this isn't like deep, heavy psychoanalysis.
Not at all. CBT deals with a specific problem right now. It's all about replacing those unproductive automatic thoughts. That's the cognitive part. And the unhealthy reactions that follow. That's the behavioral part.
And the system for this is the ABCDE Framework. It's like a map.
Perfect map.
Yeah.
Let's walk through it. A is the first step.
Okay.
A is the activating event, the trigger. So in our work example, the A is receiving that sharp, critical email from your manager.
Okay, so the email lands in your inbox. That's the A. What's B?
B is the belief. And it's usually instantaneous and not very rational.
Right.
Email lands and B fires off. I'm a fraud. I messed this all up. They're going to find out I don't belong here.
The imposter syndrome.
Totally. And that belief, B, leads directly to C.
C is?
The consequence.
Yeah.
So the automatic emotional or behavioral reaction.
Mm-hmm.
So because you believe you're a fraud, C might be you just shut down, you spiral into anxiety, you avoid that manager for the next week.
So A, B, and C is basically just watching what happens, just observing the chain reaction.
Yes. And only after you can see that clearly do you earn the right to intervene. And that brings us to D.
D is for disputation.
This is the turning point. This is where you actively challenge that irrational belief. You ask yourself, hold on, is it 100% true that I'm a fraud? Or did I just get feedback on one part of one project?
Is avoiding my manager actually going to help solve this?
Exactly. And then finally you get to E.
Which is exchange.
This is where you build the new pathway. You exchange the harmful thought for a constructive one. So instead of, I'm a fraud, you exchange it for, this feedback is about the work, not my worth. I can fix the 3 points they listed.
That's an incredible framework. But like you said, you can't jump ahead.
It's sequential. It requires patience.
So the immediate action for anyone listening right now is just to focus on A, just the activating event.
That's the whole mission for the next few days. Become a trigger detective. Your A is anything that annoys you, stresses you out, or, on the flip side, gets you overly excited.
And it can be internal too, right? Not just an email.
Oh, totally. It can be a memory that pops up, a naggler thought, or even just being hungry. Hangry.
Yes. That's a big one.
Or it can be external. A deadline, a comment from a colleague, getting stuck in traffic.
The goal here is just to catch it, right? To have that aha moment.
Yes. The goal is to notice the trigger in the moment it happens. To just say to yourself, aha, that's an A. When that colleague says something, or when you feel that rush of pride after getting praise.
That awareness alone feels like it would change things.
That moment of awareness is freedom. It's the difference between being a victim of your programming and becoming its observer. Just that tiny pause, that little bit of space you create by naming the A. It often lowers the emotional heat immediately.
Even before you get to the other letters.
Way before you even think about D or E.
Okay, so that's the assignment for you listening. It's simple. Just start tracking your activating events, the A's, positive, negative, whatever. Just notice them. No judgment. Don't worry about fixing anything yet.
And really be patient with yourself. If you're struggling to figure out why a certain deadline always sets you off, or why you panic when you have to lead a meeting, that's okay.
Just noticing is the work for now.
Working through step A is the most vital piece of this whole puzzle. You can't dispute a belief, D, until you actually know what the trigger A is.
Next time, we are going to take some of those A's and walk them all the way through the rest of the framework, B, C, D, and E. But for now, just get curious about what starts your engine. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
We'll see you for the next step.